Here is my C++ fighting game. I haven't updated this in a while, but here it is. I wrote a couple updates. Things like I rewrote the animation player. I also added what I call pseudophysics. So as you can see, I now have the player boxes interacting with each other. They collide. And I can try to get underneath. Obviously, that's not going to work. And if I try to run into each other at the same time, you go into a stalemate. Just basic pseudophysics. Now, the reason why I did this, the reason why I wrote some of the new code is because I wanted to test out some of the AI-assisted tools. In this video, I'm going to talk about Bing and GitHub Copilot. Those two things are the only things that I use for this specific code. I want to say that I wanted to have minimal effort for maximum benefit. I wanted to be lazy, incorporate a few AI stuff into my workflow, and see what happens. To give you the short answer, I think it gave me a significant boost, and I'm happy with it. Let me talk about the first example, Bing. Now, most of the time I'm using Google or DuckDuckGo. So now I'm introducing just another search engine. So, for example, in C++, I get confused with the syntax, especially when I'm coming back from writing a whole bunch of code in another language. C++ syntax sometimes gets really frustrating to remember. So let's say I'm writing in C++. I want to pass a member function pointer as an argument. As an argument, give me some sample code. Let's see what happens. So the point here is this feels to me like a more human interface version of Google. I'm pretty sure I can get pretty good results just by Googling this, but it's just a higher level interface that saves me a lot of time and effort. So I'm getting some sample code right here. I'm not going to test this right now, but at least it passes a smell test. Okay, it also gives me a bunch of explanations. So I'm just naturally talking to the search engine as if it were my assistant. It's a human level interface. It's pretty good. The second example, GitHub Copilot, would be I just installed it. I just installed it and let it run in the background. It's really hard to give you a natural example as I'm recording this. Most of the time, I'm just writing my code, and out of the blue, GitHub Copilot just gives me the exact code that I want. That happens pretty consistently to save my energy from typing everything. Let me try to give you an example. So let's see. Right now, I just have a jump up state. Let's say I want to create a class called jump forward. Jump forward. So here's the header. It's going to be very similar to jump up state. So let's start with the namespace. And this is a class, jump forward. Already it's giving me suggestions, so I'm just gonna press tab. By the way, this is not a tutorial. You can look that up. I'm just giving you some really simple examples. So already as I'm typing away, it's GitHub Copilot is giving me suggestions, and I can just press tab. And maybe it's wrong. The Copilot forgot about the namespace, which is fine. Let's see if it gives me more suggestions. I'm going to press Control Alt Enter. And already it's giving me a bunch of suggestions right here. And this is really similar to all of the other states that I've written that I'm seeing. I'm just going to pick one. I mean, this is barely anything. This might not even be the best example, but oops. Okay, this is, I mean, this doesn't even pass the smell test. This one kind of does. Okay, so I don't have to type everything. It's kind of interesting how. Okay, I'm not going to use this code, obviously, but even though this is not the best, the most natural example, again, like I said, I just let it run in the background, and it sometimes gives me the exact code that I want. What I found really interesting was that sometimes it gives me a completely random suggestion of a code. A lot of times I don't intend on using them, but sometimes it gives me new ideas for me to go into a completely different direction, and I end up being happy with it. There was this other example where I wrote my own code. It didn't work as intended, and I just deleted it and got a GitHub Copilot suggestion, and that worked exactly as I intended. That just happened once in the last couple weeks. So it's my verdict on this is you cannot rely on 100%. You obviously still have to work. You still have to write a lot of your code. You still have to come up with your own structure and everything. But to me, it's consistent enough up to a certain point where it saves you a significant amount of time and effort. And you can redirect that time and energy into focusing more on the game itself, not getting caught up with the syntax, etc. So I think it's really good. This is probably only the beginning. I can only guess that it's gonna be drastically better pretty soon. I don't even know where this is going, but I don't care. My first question would be, how can I use the current technology to my advantage today? So I'll keep you guys updated on my C++ fighting game, as well as some of my other Unity projects. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.